There are places in the world where the mafia is so powerful that they can make or break your life in an instant, and they have complete control over the streets. These organizations began to take shape in the early 20th century, when the United States implemented prohibition laws banning the sale, production, and transportation of alcohol. This created a huge black market for alcohol, and those who could supply it were able to make massive amounts of money very quickly. This led to the rise of organized crime groups who would go on to become what we now call the Mafia. The Mafia became so powerful in some parts of the US that entire cities had to be evacuated during their gang wars. Entire neighborhoods were burned down, and people went missing without a trace. The police force was sometimes completely overwhelmed and unable to stop the violence. Well, today we're going to talk about 3 streets that are still controlled by the Mafia, so stay tuned. Number 3, Little Italy, New York City. In the early 1900s, New York City was a dangerous place if you weren't part of the Italian community. With rampant anti-immigrant sentiment, poverty, and limited job opportunities, it was hard for Italian immigrants to make a decent life for themselves. That was until the Mafia came along. The Mafia offered Italian immigrants a way to earn money and climb the social ladder by selling illegal alcohol. As the Mafia grew in power, so did the wealth and influence of Little Italy. Today, Little Italy is one of the most popular tourist destinations in New York City, with its delicious restaurants and unique shops. But don't be fooled by its charm. The Mafia is still very much active in Little Italy. In recent years, several Mafia bosses have been arrested in Little Italy, including Bonanno crime family boss Joseph Massino. According to reports from the FBI, the Mafia is still involved in racketeering, extortion, and illegal gambling in Little Italy. There are also rumors that the Mafia is still involved in the drug trade. Despite all this, Little Italy remains one of the most popular tourist destinations in New York City. So if you're ever there, be sure to keep your eyes open. You never know what might happen. No. 2. South Side of Chicago. Chicago's South Side has long been considered one of the most violent neighborhoods in the country. It wasn't always like this, though. Once upon a time, the South Side was a thriving community of hard-working families. Then the Mafia came along and turned it into a war zone. It all started when the Mafia decided to move into the South Side and set up shop. They quickly began to exert their dominance over the neighborhood through threats, intimidation, and violence. Before long, the South Side was under the control of the Mafia. They ran everything from the bars, to the restaurants, to the street gangs, and anyone who didn't cooperate was quickly made an example of. Over the years, the violence has only gotten worse. There have been countless murders, shootings, and other crimes committed on the South Side. It's become so bad that many residents have had to flee their homes. If you ever visit Chicago, you should definitely avoid the South Side at all costs. It's not worth risking your life to see what's down there. Number 1, Detroit. Detroit is a city that needs no introduction. It's been in the news a lot lately for all the wrong reasons. The city is broke, the schools are failing, and the crime rate is insane. But if there's one thing that Detroit does well, it's Mafia crime. Seriously. Detroit is one of the most Mafia-ridden cities in the United States. It's been that way for decades. Back in the day, Detroit was a great place for the Mafia to operate. There was a lot of money to be made here. The auto industry was booming, and the city was full of rich targets for the Mafia to extort. Plus, Detroit was very corrupt. The police were often on the take, and politicians were regularly paid off by the Mafia. All of this allowed the Mafia to operate freely in Detroit, and they quickly became a powerful force in the city. They ran casinos, they controlled the unions, and they even had a hand in politics. To this day, the Mafia is a major problem in Detroit. The city is still very corrupt, and the Mafia still has a lot of power here. Just ask anyone who's ever been to Detroit. They'll tell you that the Mafia is everywhere. Now, we're not sure how the Mafia still has such a stronghold on Detroit. Maybe it's because the city is broke and the Mafia is willing to help out. Or maybe it's because the corruption is so bad that the Mafia just doesn't care. Either way, the Mafia is still a major problem in Detroit, and it doesn't look like it's gonna change anytime soon. If you enjoyed this video, check out more videos.